which is called we call it, you can call it, it's basically a linear regression methodology where we try to get it as close to a straight line as possible.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how I would do it. So I'm not commenting whether what Raj said is right, wrong. Theoretically, anything is possible, but practically when I do it, I try to take a total of 100 here.
Okay.
So if I have 10 factors I've selected, I try to put a weightage because some factors are more important, like education. Therefore, if I'm saying 20 weightage, I'm giving a higher weightage to this.
Okay.
And then I try to make it linear, which means it's 20, 40, 60 if it's 3 levels. If it's 5 levels, I try to make it 20, 40, 60, 80, like that. You're seeing it here.
Yeah, I can see it. I've got your point now.
Now, let me show you. So this is how I would normally do it. And then obviously I would take each role and then look at the weightage for each total points based on this entire, all the factors. Now, for example, for HR specialists, these are the factors and these are the weightages. Whereas for this is the weightage. So I get a total numeric number here, and using a point bracket, I kind of get the total points for each job. And based on these points, I fix the salary range using the linear method of regression.
Yes. The second question was this. I wanted to ask you about the regression, for the formula for regression.
Correct. So normally what I would do when I use the formula for regression is, the simplest is use Excel. Why do you do it mechanically? Everybody has Excel. So I just calculate the slope on Excel and the intercept on Excel, and I can get the linear regression line from all these points. How did I get this linear regression? I take benchmark jobs for each job. See, I know the points. Correct? This is what I've calculated using my point table.
Okay.
I know the market salaries for all these jobs. So what I can do is I'll put the market salaries next to it. At least for few jobs. It need not be for all jobs in your company. Let's say you have 100 jobs in your company. You take 20 jobs for which you know the market salary well. At least around 20 jobs. Are we okay till now?
Okay.
So Saad, you have all the points. You know the market salaries for these 20.
Okay.
So when you say market salaries, is it the midpoint or you're talking about the minimum and maximum both?
No, you're taking the midpoint. You're taking the median salary in the market for each job. You can use sites like payscale.com for this.
Okay.
So you can go on to PayScale and it'll tell you the median salary for most of these jobs.
And so one more question, is it always based on the total salary, or are we looking at the base salary? Or can companies choose between that while taking
Mostly
the...
when we are looking at the salary, we are looking at fixed total salary. Fixed total salary. That doesn't include variable pay.
Okay.
And doesn't include the cost of benefits. So we talk about total fixed pay for the job.
Okay.
Because normally when we are fixing grades, remember we are normally fixing the fixed salary for the job. And in addition to that, you can fix the grades. So if I look at it, let's look at it practically, right? So let's say you ask me to come and fix the salaries. And I've done this for lots and lots of companies, right? For your company. So what are we doing if we are using the point scale method, point plan method? So it's fine. First, I sit with your managers or your senior management and understand what is it that you want to reward. Okay, which is your compensable factors. We first select these. Are we okay? Step one.
Yeah.
Normally, when I do it, we call it compensable factor analysis and strategic discussion, where 2-3 senior people discuss what is it that you want to reward in your company. Remember, what you reward in your company, you will get people of that type.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I want to reward, let's say, people who are good leadership, people who have independent judgment and problem solving capability, people with good work experience and good education. Let's say that is my, but that need not be your company. Your company could be different. You might want to select other factors. Are we okay till now? I select the factors, sitting with the senior management over a 2-3 hour discussion. We select these factors very carefully, keeping in view what you want to. So in some companies, it could be I want to reward creativity. In some company, it could be that I want to reward people who are very, very, how do I say, I want to reward people more. I want to give more money for people who are very strong on leadership. I want to give money to people who are very good at solving or giving customer service to customers. I want to give the aspect of customer service. So you select whatever are your factors which you believe you want to encourage in your company. Are we okay till step one? Then we give a weightage to factors. Not see, especially when we do a point plan, if you're selecting 10 factors or 12 factors, number of factors will be very different. Are we okay with this, guys?
Yeah.
So if we are selecting 10 factors or 12 factors, you have to give a weightage to the factors, which is why normally we try to give a weightage. Okay, because all factors are not equal. So let me take another example. Now this company has selected this. Let me show you. Some other company can select a certain number, the factors based on their and give different sets of weightages. Are we okay? That means, what do we mean by weightage? Some factors are more important than other factors. The weightage is nothing but a factorial analysis to tell you which factors you consider more important. It's like weightage, right? Any decision-making criteria has weightages. Are we okay till now?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
This weightage will become the basis for giving points. Obviously, you'll give more points to things which have a higher weightage.
Yes.
Fairly obvious?
Yeah.
So when you set your levels, see, now let us take this one, education. You're given 20. So if I'm doing a linear regression, now remember, linear regression in education means I give 20 for level 1, I give 40 for level 2, and I give 60 for level 3. I'm giving it at a multiplicative factor of, so it's linear in nature. It's a straight line by itself. The weightages I'm giving. I can give an exponential. If it is exponential, it will become 20, 40, maybe 80 here. The line will become more exponential.
Okay.
Are we okay? Mostly, most companies, when they give factors, they select a linear grade. This is the most common and most normally done. So which means it's very easy. You just multiply 2 times, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times.
Okay.
Right. Right. Okay.
Correct. Then this itself will become a linear scale. Then, till now, are we okay?
Yes, yes, got it.
Okay. Now, if I want, I can make it 20, 40, 80, in which case my lines will become a little more exponential in nature, or 90 or whatever I want. The line won't become straight. It will become like this, exponential. Correct?
So the only thing I wanted to just add here is, when we had a session with Mr. Raj, what he mentioned was, first you work on the level 1 column, which adds up to 100 based on the compensable factors you selected. Then he said you work on the last, let's say level 5 total point based on the minimum and maximum salary of the company that you have. Like, okay, so you get the points and then you work backwards. Then you get the level 3, then you work on the level 2 and 4. This is how he told us to work on the, so that could be
so what he's saying is not wrong. He's saying the same thing that I'm saying. He's saying that here, your third level, if you want the salaries to be more exponential in nature, not straight line, then this points has to be higher, Sonia.
Okay.
But what I normally do is I simplify it by saying most companies would prefer a straight line salary, at least for the first few grades. You won't like a very exponential jump somewhere.
Right.
We keep saying that, for example, when a guy gets promoted from position A to position B, he gets a 20 to 30% hike. From position B to position C, again, he should get a 30% hike. Position C to D, he should get a 30% hike. Actually, what you're saying is a linear distribution, because you want a kind of an even promotional jump at every jump in as he gets promoted. You don't normally say that, okay, first job I'll give a 20% jump, second job I'll give it a 20% jump, third job I'll give a 50% jump, fourth job I'll give a 100% jump. That's little unlikely.
Yeah.
But if you are planning see, there are some companies who like to give a jump, and they call it the tournament concept of pay strategy. That means at one particular level, they give a huge jump. Why? It's called a tournament strategy. Consulting companies do this a lot. So when you join, let's say you join at 100,000 rupees per month, then next job you get 130, then next job you get 160, third job you get 190. So you're almost having an even jump till 190. But suddenly in the fourth jump, you get a 500% jump.
Wow. Okay.
Now you might say, why do they give this 500% jump? You take a consulting company like Deloitte. I have friends who have worked in some of these consulting companies like KPMG and etc. So the first 2-3 levels, there's not much jump. But at one level, you get, you are called like a partner level person of the firm.
Okay.
Now, when you reach the partner level, you get a 500, 600, even 1,000% jump. The reason they want to do it is they want people to work very hard and want to become partners. So people will stay for 6-7 years if they feel they can become a partner, because they'll say, oh my God, I'm going to get a huge amount of salary at that level. And
kind of like a retention plan.
Motivates people to stay on, and the best people will stay on. Because let's say Sonia has joined the company and she's a good performer. She gets a first promotion fast. She gets a second promotion fast. Now she's saying, hey, I got 2 promotions. Now I can become a partner. And they tell her also, hey, Sonia, look, you're doing very well. In 2-3 years, you can become a partner, but please focus your and work very hard. So Sonia is willing to put in 16 hours, 20 hours per day with the hope that someday she'll become a partner and get that huge salary. She may or may not, but it motivates her. And therefore, she will stay on for 3-4 years unless she is sure she's not going to make partner, which if she doesn't get promoted and it's very clear that she's not looked at very highly in the company, she will leave.
Yeah.
This is a different concept, in which case your 4th or 5th level will not be linear. It will be a huge jump at the 4th level. So it'll be 20, 40, but when it becomes 60 or 80, it suddenly becomes 500 points or 300 points. That's a company philosophy. But normally when we do it, which is what 90% companies do, it will be linear. So it'll be 20, 40, 60, 20, 40, like this. Correct?
Yeah.
Saad, are you okay with what I've said till now?
I've got your point.
Now comes the next stage. Now, after that, I've created my grid, right? And for each job now, I've got my point value based on my factors. I've analyzed how much points I should give for education for a HR specialist, etc. So I have a total number of points. We are okay till now?
Yes.
Now we have all this. Now what do I do with this? I need to create a pay line with this. That means I need to know for 185 points, what should be my salary? For 400 points, what should be my salary? How do I get to know this? Is I try to use a technique called market regression by putting down the number of, for each point, I try to put what is the market salary. And normally I select the mid-range, median. But if some company says, I want to be a very good paymaster, they might even select not the median salary, but they might select the 80th percentile salary or the 90th percentile, which is a very good salary in each market, and put it here.
So do you always start with the hierarchy of each department to make the points? Is that a better way of doing it? So that
so hierarchy will automatically come, no? Because automatically you'll get points for all the jobs in that department after you create a point plan. So you first create the point plan, which looks like this, correct? Which is your factors for each level, and then you evaluate each and every job, right, Sonia? It will automatically happen. That means jobs with a lower importance will get lower points because the education level required will be low, etc., etc. Correct?
Okay.
So automatically HR specialist will get a lower salary than, let's say, an L&D specialist, because the education required for an L&D specialist compared to, or let's say a basic HR generalist would be low, because HR generalist is the lower end job, whereas a L&D specialist requires more education, more experience, more leadership, more everything.
Okay.
So on the whole, these people will get higher points. So you can see here, this is 275. And a generalist is getting only 195. So there will be a difference.
Then I just have one questions, right, with regard to this same hierarchy. Let's say if we are considering all the positions, so what positions from the top, let's say excluding the CEO, or if we include the CEO as well or not during this whole system, because the CEO salary, if we compare to the others, it will be much higher. It might impact the overall equation.
Yes. So
what
normally, so normally we don't consider CXO level positions at all. Normally it is positions. Remember, we are putting only the fixed salary first. We are not considering for this point value. We are not considering variables. I hope I'm clear in this. Now we have fixed all the points, and we also have a table which has all the
total salaries,
market salary for few of these jobs. So what we are trying to do with this market salary versus this is we get a distribution which looks like this. Now, for example, this point is 120 and the market salary is 100,000. So we get a distribution like this. These are the points with points on one axis. So this point, for example, is for each of these 7 or 8 or 10 jobs that we are having the salary, market salary at the 50th percentile normally, which is the median market salary, and we are having the point value. So I've calculated point value for 20 jobs. I have their market salary. Now I'm using the slope and intercept formula of Excel to give me a linear straight line called the pay line. This is called the pay line. This line is called the pay line.
Then should it be mean or should it be median?
For which one?
The 50th percentile
is 50th percentile is always median only. Mean, maybe, see, in many cases mean and median will be almost same, but technically correct answer is only median, which is 50th percentile. We don't take average salaries. We always take the 50th percentile salaries.
Okay.